budget PCPs. Now, usually you can't get much for your money when it comes to PCP air rifles. As in, if you are on a budget, sort of under £350, yeah, you're going to struggle a little bit. But technology's moved on. Stuff's got a little bit cheaper as far as manufacturing, I guess. Or is it just innovation from companies that have been able to make things a little bit cheaper? Oh, I don't know. Well, here I have the Umarex Iconix. Now, I do like Umarex stuff. You've probably seen loads of Umarex pistols here on the channel. Not bad, you know, decent quality. You know, don't expect, obviously, match grade quality or anything like that. But it's all right. It's all right. This, the Iconix. Now, guys, you know me. When I do reviews, I'm not like all the other YouTubers that will say everything is great and that's that. If something ain't good, I'm going to tell you it ain't good. That's how I roll. It's simple as that. If you don't like that, then you're watching the wrong channel, because I'm telling you how it is. So I'm going to tell you how this thing is, with a slight caveat. Now, I did start obviously shooting this, and I did a little bit of research before I did start shooting it, but I didn't clock the price of it. So I was kind of assuming, and this is quite funny really, I was kind of assuming that this was going to be sort of around the £250 mark here in the UK, maybe even touching sort of 300. I probably would have been like, 300 quid really? But I was quite surprised with the price of this thing. You can actually pick these up, obviously not with a scope, but you can pick up the Iconix for like 160 quid here in the UK. Now, for a PCP air rifle, that is absolutely amazing. It's amazing. But it wasn't until after I'd shot this thing I discovered the price. While I was shooting it, I was like, oh God, it shoots all right, but the accuracy isn't great. And I was almost like, I don't know what to think about this. I was already sort of thinking about this review and thinking, am I just going to jump into it and really sort of slag this thing off? Because a few choice words sort of sprang to mind as I was trying to get this thing accurate. But then I seen the price, and then I was like, do you know what? I can't really moan about it too much for its price point. If it had been a 300 quid rifle, then yeah, I'd be moaning a little bit. But considering it's sub 200 quid, do you know what? It's really not bad for the money. But I'll throw my sort of 2p worth at it in a minute. Right. That's enough of me sort of waffling. Let me throw out the specs of this thing. Now, this is in 2.2, this one that I've got. The 2.2 version, I've got my notes down on my tablet in front of me. In the 2.2 version, believe it or not, with that little cylinder there, you're going to get 95 shots. 95 pretty good power shots. No, I didn't chrono this thing. I didn't chrono it. It definitely ain't doing full power. I know that. I reckon this is probably doing about 9 foot-pounds, something like that, at a guess. I'll do a chrono check and sort of throw in the the readings of that in this video. 10-shot mag capacity. The magazines are here, the little rotary magazines that we all love. It's not bad. The spring in it feels a little weak. Don't know what that'd be like, you know, a few years later after heavy use. Would it last? I don't know. But I didn't have any problems with the magazine whatsoever. You do also actually get a single shot tray, which is good. That is, I think it's plastic. Wedding ring check. Yeah, plastic. But it's nice. Single shot tray. Side lever cocking. Full Picatinny rail on here. You've got a slide-in safety catch, which is different. You can actually push it forward there, but not bad. It is what it is. Barrel length is 510 millimeters. Overall length is a meter, 1,000 millimeters. Okay. That is, did I put this one on? I can't, do you know what? Does it come with a mod? No, it doesn't come with a mod. I think that is one of my own that I've put on there. Do you know what? I've got that many guns here on review. I can't even remember what's what at the minute. I think that is one of my mods that I've put on there. Just to sort of keep the noise down on this thing. 207 bar, the fill pressure is available in 177 and 22. Velocity, according to the specs, is up to 558 feet per second, and it weighs in just over 2 kilograms, 2.2 kilograms. It's very plastic. It's very, very synthetic. There's no doubt about it. You have got, that is actually a rubber stock pad on there. You've got the UX logo on there. Pistol grip, all polymer. And you've got like this sort of, what would you call it? Pattern finish along the bottom there. And there's your cylinder, like I said. You've got your filler hole is there. You can see that. Threaded to take a mod, obviously. Picatinny rail. Decent cocking lever. It does, I ain't gonna lie, it does look a little bit pot metally in there, but it is what it is. You know, it's a sub £200 PCP air rifle. If you're on a budget, or if you just want a PCP rifle, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. You know, the trigger is super, super heavy. Super heavy. Do you know what? Do I pull it with my gauge? I reckon I'd actually break my gauge. Let's give the trigger a pull. If I break my gauge, guys, then you need to follow the link below and sort of, donate to the channel, because these things ain't cheap, and I reckon this trigger pull is going to bust my gauge. Let's do this for a laugh. Oh, I don't even know whether I'm going to do it one-handed. This is a bad trigger. Bad trigger. Oh. 9 pounds, 11.5 ounces on the trigger pull. Okay, let's try that again. Let's remind myself. Yeah, it's a bit of a pull on the trigger. Loading it was fine. Loads of different pellets I tried. Let's jump into accuracy. I didn't have any sort of graunchiness while loading it. Yeah, I've seen that on high-end guns where it's can be a little bit rough loading certain pellets. How did it do on accuracy? Now, this thing is sub £200, right? So don't expect match grade quality. But I use 5 different types of pellets, which I've got hidden round here so I can show them. Yeah, let me just grab them. I'm ill prepared as ever for this video. So let's have a look. First ones were H&N Field Target Trophies in that group. This is 30 yards. That's full mag on each of these. Okay, I did zero it and then it started going to the left a little bit for some reason. But H&N Field Target Trophy, them right there. Okay, 30 yards. That's how it's doing. Bear in mind, it's a brand new rifle. You know, it is what it is. Next up, I used, which are a good quality pellet, are the QYS 22s. Okay, use them. That weren't a bad group, considering. Maybe I'm getting a bit too, you know, sort of comparing this to something a bit more expensive. 30 yards, bear in mind. So a full mag, 10 shots, not bad. Next one was JSB Exact Jumbo RSs. That was your middle group there. Okay. And then what we got then, we did Norma. Those are a real good pellet. I tried them. They really went to the left. Now, bear in mind, I'm aiming here. And I went over here. But still a fairly decent group. Just goes to show, doesn't it? Different pellets. And then the next, or last but not least, Hades. Now, obviously, I didn't do this in the conventional. They're the Hades. That's where they landed. So, it is what it is. It's just over 150 quid at PCP. What more do you want? You can't expect superior accuracy from a rifle, a PCP at that price point. It is what it is. So for that, I think it's really, really, really good value for money for what you get if you're after your first PCP. Would I buy one? Me personally, I probably wouldn't. It's kind of like cars. Do you go for a brand new crap make car, or do you go for a second-hand something a bit nicer? I know what I kind of go for. Would I get one of these, or would I spend a little bit more money on competitive options that are out there? I think I'd spend a little bit more money. Okay, and I'll show you what I'd get. So let's put that down for a minute. All right, well, this is probably level pegging, although it is a little bit more money. But the Gamo Arrow, this feels a little bit more substantial, the Gamo Arrow. I don't think I've put a video out on this yet, and I have shot this. So if I haven't, I will roll out a video. I've got like over 1,000 videos on the channel. So I don't think I've done this one. So this one might be due. But yeah, Gamo Arrow, competitive option, little bit more money. Possibly go for that, maybe. Or spend a little bit more money and just go for the Stoga XM1 Scout, which feels loads better. And you get a scope with it as well. For me, I think it would be that. Okay. Definitely. Or don't just get, I think my point is, don't just get a cheap PCP just for the fact of getting, or just for the, the point of getting a PCP. Okay. I myself would sooner have a second-hand, Viroc Springer for probably a bit more money than that, but probably more accurate shooting and saleability later on. Definitely more saleability than that. Okay, I'm not knocking this. I'm not slagging it off. I'm just saying. It is what it is. It's a cheap, and don't get me wrong, Umarex, they're really good. They've got some fantastic stuff out there. But spend a little bit more money. If you want my advice, spend a little bit more money and just get something a little bit better. Don't just buy a super cheap PCP for the sheer fact of getting a PCP. That is my point. Okay, that is my point. There you go. Think for me, if I'm looking for something that sort of budget, it's going to be Gamo Arrow. It just feels better. Or the Stoga XM1 Scout, or something along those lines. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Right, let's have a look at the box. Now, Umarex stuff is always really well presented. Okay, get a decent box with it. You do, like I said, you get one magazine, you get a single shot tray, What's inside the box? Well, that's empty pretty much. So I have got everything out of the box. What do you get in the box? Well, those bits I've just explained, and Umarex's manual, which is always a little bit not great, but it tells you how to, you know, use the single shot tray and load up the mags, but it's all in black and white. I'd like something a little bit in colour if it was me, but no, it's not a bad rifle. It is very plastic, but it feels tough. You know, it's not shitty plastic like some sort of real low end stuff is. It feels decent. You know, it feels like you'd be able to possibly drop it on the floor, although I wouldn't do not compressed air. I hate compressed air at the best of times. But it feels decent. It's just the accuracy was a bit disappointing. You know, like I said, spend a little bit more. I think if you spent another £100, you get something far superior than this. That's just my point. That's just my point. But no, there you go. The Umarex Iconix. I think I'm too nice in these videos. Do I need to sort of get a bit more raw and say, don't buy it, it's an absolute pile of shit? No, I won't, because it's at its price point. It is what it is. If it was, like I said, if this was £300, I'd be like, dude, really? Do not touch it. Do not spend £300 on one of these. The sheer fact it's just over £150. Fill your boots, but just spend a bit more. Get something a little bit better. You won't regret it. Trust me, you won't regret it. Anyway, that's my bridges burnt with Umarex, I'm sure. I'm just saying it how it is. You know me, guys. I'd rather save you guys money than big myself up here on YouTube, you know, and try and keep everyone pleased. It is what it is. You know, you'll get my honest opinion on this channel. You have done for the last 15 years, and that is how I roll. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you ring the bell, because hardly any of you subscribers are watching these videos for some reason. I think it's because you're not getting the notifications, so make sure you hit the notification bell. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It don't cost you anything, and you'll get a good, honest review that might save you some money. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys. That is Rack and Load. See ya.